say I'm drowning alone and I'm lost in my feelings. Somebody send me a sign, cause you know that I need it.
And a very special good Monday morning to all of you, and thank you very much for joining us. I forgot to say earlier, a very special good morning and thank you to Urvashi for holding on for the next 2 weeks, all right? Okay, so first on the agenda this morning is the sexual violation of males in Trinidad and Tobago and the underreporting of such incidents. This follows recent revelations by manager of the St. Mary's Children's Home, Gwyneth Blaisdell, who has described the situation as troubling. Well, joining us this morning is the founder of International Men's Day and World Day of the Boy Child, Dr. Jerome Tiluxing. Dr. Tiluxing, good morning.
Good morning to you and your viewers.
All right. Studio, I believe you're going a little fast. Come back down. All right? All right. So, Doctor, as I said, a very special good morning to you. Before we move into our interview this morning, I just want to give a little context to things this morning. So, Dr. Tiluxing received the Hummingbird Medal Bronze in 2022, and at that time dedicated his award to the children from poverty-stricken families and voiceless children who are bullied and abused. So, Dr. Tiluxing, again, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, one of the concerns of Miss Gwyneth Blaisdell, who is the manager at the St. Mary's Home, she says, is the number of young males that come in showing signs of being sexually violated, but they are not coming into the home with reports of sexual violation. So there's an underreporting as to what is happening. Dr. Tiluxing, how do you see this?
I see this as extremely troubling. I see it as having repercussions on our society. And what is very sad is that these boys who are violated, they will end up in crime. They might end up with having some addiction like alcohol or drugs, so that the trauma that they face, it's not something that is short-lived. They carry it for the rest of their life, that stigma. And I think it is something that is a crisis right now. Last October, one of the newspapers reported that over the past 8 years in Trinidad and Tobago, 10,000 children have been physically and sexually abused. So it's a crisis not just in the St. Mary's Home. We need to investigate this island-wide crisis.
But Dr. Tiluxing, what is driving this thirst by people to violate our young men?
It's a very good question, and I want to believe that the media, the social media in particular, the internet, as you would know that there's something called porn addiction, so there are a lot of pornography is circulating. A lot of these videos are creating dysfunctional persons. We have pedophiles out there who are not seeking help, not getting any therapy, so that we have a lot of people out there who are suffering from mental health problems, and this porn addiction is fueling this crisis.
But speaking about pedophiles in Trinidad and Tobago, you think that we as a country, we have done enough to expose these people and to deal with them in order for them to not to continue their nefarious ways?
It's difficult to deal with, especially when we are looking at persons who might be high profile, so I think it's something that has been in the media, something we have swept under the carpet, something that could embarrass and, make people ashamed to know that, their relatives or persons who they look up to might be these people. So it is something that we must address.
Yeah. According to Ms. Blaisdell, she also believes that the state is failing in respect to this. But Dr. Tiluxing, we in Trinidad and Tobago, we have, I think over the years, we have come to accept certain types of behavior, and it has become our culture. So this culture of abuse, we're seeing what is happening with crime. It would seem that we have accepted it now, and it has become a part of our daily lives. You think that in when we speak about this matter, this is something that we have come to accept too?
You are perfectly right. We have become apathetic. We have crime and violence has become so common that it has entered our comfort zone. Look at United States, the attempted assassination. Look at the daily violence that is occurring everywhere, not just in Gaza, Ukraine. So it is something where we have become desensitized.
Yeah. There's also a claim by Ms. Blaisdell that society and the country's culture did not help with how the system viewed and treated children and their sexuality, and the boys were afraid to express their sexual issues, particularly due to the stigma associated with homosexuality. So the question is, Dr. Tilaksing, that there has to be a safe space where our young men or young women, everyone, feel that they can express their views and they are not going to be victimized or discriminated against.
I certainly agree. And in creating that safe space, we need child psychologists, we need child therapists, and I want to encourage the government to import these therapists if we do not have enough, because we're dealing with thousands of children and we need to act urgently. I really hope that the government would not have another commission of inquiry and they take this matter as an urgent matter. It must be priority.
But you are painting a frightening state of affairs, because if we are speaking about thousands of people, thousands of young men who are going through this, then, of course, as you described it earlier, we do have a crisis.
Yes. We certainly do. And let me tell you that when these boys develop into young men, they cannot have a proper relationship. They cannot function in society. There's a lot of anger and pain. And this is what encourages, negative social reaction. This is what encourages this backlash that we see, this violence in society, the violent young man.
Yeah. And to put it simply, Dr. Tilaksing, they just don't know how to love. They just don't know what is love. They don't understand a nurturing touch, right?
Correct. And, it is so heartbreaking to know that it is something that is global. I have also, and many of us would know, that there are reports within the last 5 to 10 years about those in the scouting movement, young boys in the United States who were abused. We know about the allegations facing the Roman Catholic Church, the priests abusing boys. So it is something global. It is not something confined to Trinidad and Tobago or the Caribbean. And we need to reach out for international help to deal with this problem.
But speaking about how serious this situation is, I am just wondering, and I'm sure there may be a lot of people who are wondering this morning, Dr. Tilaksing, as we speak about this matter, if it is at a crisis situation, crisis proportions, then why haven't we as a country really dealt with it in a serious way? Why are we still dealing with this sort of problem in 2024? Yes, we did speak about the culture, but why?
It's a good question, and I want to believe it's because, firstly, we are easily distracted. Something comes up, and every week it's something different, right? There are a lot of smoke screens, a lot of red herrings, and we get distracted so easily. A 7-day wonder, we talk about it and we forget about it. There's too much talk in this country. There's not enough action. And I also, secondly, believe, and I've seen it happening, is that we don't give things priority that deserve priority. We're just looking for to cover our back. We are not looking out. We are not our brother's keeper. We are not seeing ourselves as citizens who need to help each other. And I think we have lost that with all this technology and advancement and so-called progress. We have lost that human interaction that is part of the human society. For somebody to know and hear about abuse and stay quiet, something has to be wrong in the society.
But we do have a pasha, Dr. Tilak Singh, of saying that is not my business, right? When everyone in the community has a part to play, the police have a role to play, the judiciary, teachers, religious leaders, everyone has a role to play. And it is everyone's business, because we need to go back to the days where you're saying that it must be the village that is raising the individual.
And this is something that is lacking. When you look at the 20th century, people would tell you that they lived without burglar alarm, their houses were open, they would help bring up their neighbor's child, There was a sense of morality, ethics, respect, discipline. All that is lacking in 2024. There's a breakdown in society. So the abuse reflects a breakdown. It reflects a need for more nurturing, and it reflects a need in Trinidad and Tobago for us to be more caring. What is the use that we could boast about natural gas prices or GDP or GNP when the budget comes and we have so many young men walking around without a soul?
That's a very important point that you have made there, Dr. Tilak Singh. But tell me, when we speak about these children's homes, we have had also problems at children's homes over the years. And we're seeing where the manager of the St. Mary's Children's Home, she is speaking about there has to be an increase in resources. And when I speak about resources, in almost every area, so that the individual who is coming to the home, the home is better prepared to deal with that individual and deal with their issues.
I fully agree. It's not just the homes, it's non-governmental organizations. I know organizations dealing with autism, organizations dealing with poverty, and they're talking about the lack of resources. Why must we in 2024, a country so wealthy, why do we have NGOs and homes begging for resources? And we have not just the homes, sometimes hospitals to lack medicines. So I think the government, all the ministries have to focus on helping the citizens. We cannot boast and say, well, we pave a road. What is the use you pave a road and the citizens are suffering? Or you're creating a new lane on the highway. I think we need to get our priorities right and ensure that the homes, and I'm not just talking about the St. Mary's home, homes run by Hindus, Muslims, other Christians, must be properly staffed and they must be monitored. We cannot just give homes resources and not monitor them. We need welfare officers to regularly visit these homes, talk to the children, find out if they're happy, find out if there are any needs, right? It's not just simply dropping groceries there. We need to ensure that they are properly staffed with the correct people. Leadership is important in these homes.
And just to remind people that Dr. Tilak Singh is also a historian, And Dr. Tilak Singh, you would know, and I don't know if you would agree with me, but we do have this, this culture again of this revolving door. And it would seem that every day we're speaking about the same things, and there is this delay in dealing with very important issues in Trinidad and Tobago. And then sometimes we say, well, it's happening in other parts of the world. Why is it that, Dr. Tilak Singh, you feel that we do have this, this, as I said, delay in addressing these serious issues in Trinidad and Tobago?
I think it's the way that we are socialized at home. The home has a very important role to play. Parents or guardians need to, create those bonds of friendship and trust, not just the home, in the primary school. A lot of times we focus on the academics. We want to ensure the child does well at SEA. Secondary school, we're looking at CSEC and KEEP. What is the use we could boast of scholarship winners, or that this child got 98 in SEA, 98%, but the child, is dysfunctional. So I think we need to reshift our focus in the home and the schools, maybe promote more social studies and talk about, the love for the country, the love for each other, and talk about, certain values that are lacking. So I think this is what the country needs to become. We need to be less materialistic. We need to become, I want to use the word capitalistic, but that might sound, like I'm a socialist. But we need to be less materialistic. And I think that more spiritual and show more humanity. It's only around Christmas time, that we suddenly want to become more caring and give out hampers. And throughout the rest of the year, we seem to, go back into our shells, our cocoons. So I think at the home, critical, and at the primary school and secondary schools.
Yeah. As we told you earlier, Dr. Tilak Singh is also the founder of International Men's Day, which is being observed now. But tell me, Doctor, how has International Men's Day worked? Is it what you envisioned, that you are now seeing it become reality?
To tell you the truth, Marlon, every day sometimes I feel like I have failed. I feel that the movement has failed. We have dropped the ball because I see this high level of crime. I see men and boys involved in crime. I see them as victims of the crime. So that, I cannot say this morning that I'm seeing success. I have been seeing regression. I have a lot of setbacks. There's, of course, a lack of funding. So that, yes, I am trying. Yes, I am making some progress, some headway, but I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So I think that it's not just me. It's not a one-person effort. I need the entire society to come on board and assist in helping our men and boys.
Yeah, there has to be a greater buy-in, as it were.
Correct. It's not just for one day. It has to be something throughout the year, 24 hours, trying to help our men and boys who are maybe mentally challenged, emotionally challenged, maybe men who are poverty-stricken, men who are drug addicts. I cannot do it alone. A group cannot do it alone. The entire society must come together.
Yeah. And as we told persons earlier, or viewers earlier, that when you got your national award in 2022, you dedicated the award to the children from poverty-stricken families and voiceless children who are bullied and abused. And I suspect you were saying at that time, Dr. Tilak Singh, that a light needs to be shone into this area, and you really try to put a focus on the problems of the challenges facing our young children in this society.
Correct. And I think another issue that right now I am addressing is that the way in which boys are being groomed, they are being attracted to these community leaders, and they're getting into this life of crime, these gang leaders. So it is something right now on the front burner, something that I'm giving priority to. Why our young boys, why do they want to be a Zessa? Why are they so attracted to the fast life? Why is there, not an issue of hard work or savings, no dedication? So I'm trying to find out, the causes. I'm trying to find solutions, but as you know, it's very difficult.
Yeah. And is it difficult to stay positive in such an environment? Because sometimes you do think, Doctor, who's listening? Because you're doing all of this work. I mean, we're trying to give light to this issue this morning, but then you think, who is listening?
So very right. In our society and in other Caribbean countries, often we only tend to listen to the politicians. They're the ones who grab the headlines. The rest of us, they're We are the 99%, that 1%, those politicians, those with the power, they grab the highlight, they control the economy so that I have no say. Sometimes I'm a voice in the wilderness, others have voices in the wilderness. So we need people out there to make a difference. It cannot just be, the media covering the politicians. We need to give oxygen, we need to give a voice to those volunteers, those who are doing good work at the grassroots level and at the ground level.
Yeah. Dr. Tilak Singh, any final comments this morning before you leave us, sir?
I just hope that this issue regarding the St. Mary's home will not resurface, will not reoccur in the next 2 years or the next 10 years. I hope we could get closure. I hope we could deal with it. And I hope that the country could keep on empowering those boys, empowering young men, assisting them, intervening where necessary to help get them on the right path of life and show them what are the positive signs of masculinity. Many of these young boys don't even know what it means to be a man. And that's my contribution.
Yeah. And Dr. Tilak Singh, thank you very much for speaking with us this morning. And we do appreciate you speaking with us and also your contribution to Trinidad and Tobago. We need strong, vociferous voices such as yours, Dr. Tilak Singh.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye for now. Okay, so it's time for a quick break. But first, we have this image for you. We're coming back, everybody.